You think you know what fear is. Spiders, heights, public speaking, it all feels pretty standard. But those are just the surface level anxieties, the vanilla fears of the human condition. What if I told you the real horrors are the ones you've never even considered? These aren't just fears, they're prisons of the mind, built from the most mundane things imaginable. Today, we're counting down the 9 phobias you've never heard of, but maybe you should start fearing. Number 9, ablutophobia. This is the persistent, abnormal, and unwarranted fear of bathing, washing, or cleaning. Now, you might chuckle, thinking of a messy roommate or a rebellious teenager, but this isn't about being lazy or a little unkempt. This is a full-blown panic attack at the sight of a bar of soap. Imagine the sensation of water on your skin feeling like acid. Imagine the sound of a running faucet triggering a cold sweat and heart palpitations. The roots can sometimes be traced to a traumatic event involving water or a bathroom, maybe a scene from a horror movie that just burrowed too deep into the psyche. The consequences are devastatingly real. Social isolation becomes inevitable as body odor and poor hygiene push friends, family, and colleagues away. This can lead to severe depression and a complete breakdown of one's social life. Beyond the social aspect, the health implications are terrifying. Skin diseases, infections, and other illnesses that are easily prevented by basic hygiene can run rampant. It's a phobia that makes your own body a hazardous environment. Number 8, ergophobia, the fear of work. And again, we're not talking about the Sunday night blues or wishing you could win the lottery. Ergophobia is an irrational dread of the workplace or finding employment. It's a complex fear, often a cocktail of other anxieties. There's the fear of failing at assigned tasks, of not being good enough. There's the social anxiety of interacting with coworkers and authority figures. And then there's the fear of the performance itself, of being put on the spot. For an ergophobe, a simple job interview feels like a trial for their life. The thought of an office environment, the deadlines, the emails, the meetings, can induce nausea and shortness of breath. This phobia is particularly cruel because in our society, work is intrinsically linked to survival and self-worth. Without a job, you can't support yourself, leading to financial ruin and dependence. It creates a vicious cycle. The fear of work prevents you from working, which in turn creates more stress and anxiety about not working. It's a mental trap that can paralyze a person's entire adult life. Number 7, nomophobia. This is the fear of being without your mobile phone. Short for no mobile phone phobia. This is the anxiety that grips you when you've left your phone at home, run out of battery, or have no service. You probably think, yeah, I get that, it's annoying. But a true nomophobe experiences something far more extreme. It's the digital equivalent of being stranded on a desert island. Your phone isn't just a device. It's your connection to everything. Your friends, your family, the news, your identity. Losing it feels like losing a part of yourself. The symptoms are intensely physical, rapid breathing, trembling, and a desperate, all-consuming need to get that connection back. Sufferers will go to extreme lengths, like leaving an important meeting or even running into traffic to retrieve a dropped phone. This phobia highlights our deep, perhaps unhealthy, dependence on technology. It's the fear of being alone with your own thoughts, disconnected from the constant stream of information and validation. It's a fear that didn't exist 2 decades ago, yet it might be the most common unspoken terror of our generation. Number 6, phobophobia. Get ready for a mind bender. This is the fear of fear itself. It's not the fear of a specific object or situation, but the fear of experiencing the sensation of fear. A person with phobophobia lives in constant dread of having a panic attack. They become hyper-aware of their own body, constantly monitoring their heart rate, their breathing, their thoughts. The slightest flutter in their chest isn't just a flutter, it's a potential prelude to terror. This creates one of the most insidious feedback loops in all of psychology. You're afraid of getting scared, which makes you anxious. That anxiety produces the physical symptoms of fear, like a racing heart. You then notice those symptoms and think, oh no, it's happening, which validates your original fear and sends you into a full-blown panic. People with phobophobia start avoiding anything and everything that could possibly trigger fear. They'll stop watching movies, avoid crowded places, and refuse to try new things. Their world shrinks until it's a tiny, safe bubble, but they are a prisoner inside it. It's the ultimate self-fulfilling prophecy. a fear that creates the very thing it dreads. Genophobia. This is the fear of knees. Yes, you heard that right. The fear of your own knees, someone else's knees, or the act of kneeling. While it might sound comical, the fear is very real for those who suffer from it. Where does such a specific fear come from? For some, it stems from the sheer vulnerability of the joint. Knees bend in a way that can look unnatural, and injuries to them are often gruesome and debilitating. The phobia could be triggered by witnessing a horrific sports injury or having one themselves. For others, it's a more aesthetic or psychological repulsion. They might perceive knees as being ugly or weird, and this disgust escalates into a full-blown phobia. Living with genophobia means a life of constant avoidance. Summer becomes a season of terror, filled with shorts and skirts. They might only wear long pants, even in sweltering heat. Even praying or proposing marriage, acts that involve kneeling, can be impossible. It proves that literally any part of the human experience, no matter how mundane, can become a source of profound fear. Number 4, turophobia. This is the fear of cheese. From a mild aversion to a full-on panic attack, turophobes cannot handle cheese in any form. The trigger can be the sight, smell, or texture. Like many specific phobias, this one is often linked to a traumatic childhood memory. Perhaps they choked on a piece of mozzarella or were terrified by the mold on a blue cheese. For some, the fear is more abstract. Cheese is milk that has gone bad, and they associate it with decay and bacteria. Imagine how difficult this would make everyday life. Pizza, cheeseburgers, pasta, sandwiches, salads, so many of our staple foods are suddenly off limits. Social gatherings become minefields of anxiety. They have to interrogate waiters about every single ingredient, constantly on guard against the hidden threat of dairy. The fear might even extend to things that look like cheese, like a sponge with holes. It's a perfect example of how our brains can create powerful, life-altering associations from a single negative event. Number 3, somnophobia. Now we're entering the realm of truly primal terror. Somnophobia is the fear of falling asleep. This isn't about not wanting to go to bed. It's an intense anxiety associated with the act of losing consciousness. The root cause is often a fear of what might happen while you're asleep. For many, it's a debilitating fear of nightmares. They may have recurring nightmares so vivid and terrifying that they'd rather endure exhaustion than risk experiencing them again. Sleep paralysis is another major contributor, the horrifying state of being awake and aware, but completely unable to move your body. Some somnophobes fear they will stop breathing, or that something bad will happen in their home while they're unconscious and vulnerable. There's even a fear of dying in one's sleep. The battle against sleep is one you are biologically guaranteed to lose. Sufferers will use stimulants, loud music, and constant activity to stay awake for as long as possible. But sleep deprivation leads to hallucinations, paranoia, and a complete breakdown of mental and physical health. It's a fear of something your body absolutely needs to survive, making every single night a battle for control. Number 2, chronophobia. This is the fear of time, or more specifically, the passage of time. It's an existential dread that time is moving too fast and that life is slipping away.